Good evening, everybody, YouTube. Once again, this is three middle-aged dudes just bullshitting about nothing. We have the Reverend.
The theme here.
And Gray Mouse 1.
Who's probably playing Dead or Alive Extreme 3 right now instead of talking to everybody out there on YouTube. That's fine. That's fine. We know where your priorities are, okay? Basically, what we're doing with this particular video is that we're continuing our video game news. A lot of interesting things with Microsoft this week. Earlier this week, it was found out that Microsoft had filed for 2 new FCC filings, and what they're for is that whenever you are about to put out or intending to put out a product on market that's dependent on broadcast or telecommunication, protocols or technology, you have to file with the FCC. Make sure that the technology that you're using isn't against whatever the regulations are. That it doesn't, sit there and cause like microwaves to explode or other like devices to stop working. All right. It looks like both of the FCC filings that they put together are actually in concern for the Xbox One console. Interesting stuff. Thoughts, guys, before we jump into the details.
We told you so.
Well, with the filing of the FCC, it just everybody knew that there was going to be. That's what I'm thinking it is. It's just a slim down. I mean, I don't really think they're going to change their hardware. I don't know. I mean, it's all speculation again because nothing, has been released, other than the FCC, or they were filing 2 new FCC things. So
yeah, I mean, and the problem about that is that Phil Spencer has been a wishy-washy bitch over the last few weeks about that. He came out a few weeks ago at the spring keynote speech, going out of his way saying about, I'd like to see more hardware innovation within actual generations of consoles to go ahead and facilitate the backwards compatibility and forward-moving compatibility of our hardware and technology capabilities. And then he comes back and he sits there and he says, well, I don't think we're going to do incrementations of it or something like an Xbox 1.5. If we do a big change, it's going to be something bigger than just a number. All right? And folks who had paid attention to his tweets and also listened to him throughout his whole keynote speech were like, all right, Phil, what the fuck did you mean? Seriously, Phil, what the fuck did you mean?
Honestly, I don't even think he even knows. He's that wishy-washy.
Yeah.
He's like a Charlie Brown of the gaming industry. He's so wishy-washy. It's like, it's almost to a point to where people are not even, talking about it. Not about it, but, like takes everything with a grain of salt is what I'm trying to.
Yeah. I mean, and the thing is that I'm going to try not to be too hard on the dude. Because if you've seen the previous videos that we put up of us having these conversations, when it came to the possible hardware upgrades for the Xbox One, I was very honest and very unreserved about saying that I didn't fucking like it. I condemned the fucking idea very, very much. All right. In the same speech, though, he went on to talk about the possibility. Oh, actually, no, it was somebody else from the fucking. No, fuck you, Phil Spencer. All right, you didn't say anything that I gave fucking Microsoft props for. Well, you were the guy who talked about fucking cross-platform compatibility. All right, that was somebody else.
One thing with Phil Spencer is that he stepped in a pile of shit thanks to that Don Matrix faggot. But I mean, I do see an improvement from him taking over the reins. But what people got to also understand is, though, he was in the same room feeding the same or eating that same bullshit about, onward, you have to be online 24/7 and all that other. So he was in the same room.
They have to look. A lot of people don't understand. He wasn't a part of that. Yes, he was.
Yes, he
These
was.
motherfuckers had to take a vote. These motherfuckers had to actually talk about this.
Yes.
These motherfuckers actually had to agree on it and come up with these policies and actually dish them out. There's no way that anybody in that boardroom was like, oh no, fuck that. What about the gamers? No one cared about the gamers at that time. And this is another thing that pisses me off about Microsoft. They did everything in their power except to try to make gamers happy. This is even onward. This is not even talking about 2013. I'm talking about right now. There's been a couple of instances where Microsoft has changed shit and not for the discretion of the gamers. They did shit for people or groups outside looking in. Myself and Gray Mouse have made videos about that, about an after party that Microsoft threw, and you got people that weren't even gamers there complaining about it, doing their little tweets because they can't go nowhere about Twitter or their phone or looking for shit to complain about. And Microsoft caved and apologized. And it's like, apologize for what? You were in a meeting just like you were in a meeting for this Xbox One shit 3 years ago. And you came up with it. But the difference is, for the Xbox One shit that you're trying to cram down gamers' throats, you stood your ground. But for this shit, you caved immediately. So what that tells me is that, fuck gamers. You're going to satisfy these motherfuckers, but you won't satisfy the gamers.
You know, one thing that you got to know is that I am sure we're all part of a company, and we understand how the chain of command works. We've been in the military. We know how the chain of command works. You cannot do anything without letting somebody up higher know what you're doing. So for Phil Spencer to sit there and say that, oh, we didn't know that, you knew. You knew, and you thought you were going to get a fucking pass, and me and the team did not allow you to get that fucking pass because you knew about it. Don't say you didn't set. No, this is not what
PUSSI, PUSSY, no matter.
We're getting way off.
I understand, but damn it. It has a lot to do with it, though. You fucking cooter. But look, with Microsoft and the situations that they're in right now, just do the fucking try to make gamers happy. That's what the most important part of it, in the Xbox division. If you're not willing to do that, then it's like, fuck.
Well, one thing that we forgot to mention as well is the Reverend said that Microsoft filed 2 FCC. So is it going to be 2 different consoles, or is it something they're adding on to the Slim? That, you know, so that's a question that we don't know yet. You know,
well,
I mean,
what I think is happening is that mostly the FCC is they're concerned with broadcasting wireless communication. All right. I know one of the FCC filings, it noted something about a wireless radio and a dual band radio, where the information was embargoed on that until like July 29th. Okay. According to the specs and the records and stuff, that the details look like, or the details that people caught wind of, it looks like they're looking at probably installing like better Wi-Fi, you know, stepping up from the Wi-Fi what's that technology that they have in the Xbox One right now, instead of just, you know, 802.11, and I think they're going to 802.11 AC, which is the newest convention that's out. Which I know the Xbox One has Wi-Fi built on.
Yep.
I don't think they have the newest convention right now. What's funny is that the other thing that people are speculating that it might be is that they're going, just like just like they always do. They're going to have a hardware revision. They're probably going to a slimmer model, which is going to change. The hardware configuration and how things communicate. What I am thinking is going on, if we're looking at two filings here, okay, the first one is there's an embargo on the information or press release on that for the information going public until E3. Until a few weeks after E3. And the next one is embargoed until like July 29th. Is that what's probably going to happen is that they've probably done a hardware revision where the remaining Xbox Ones or the remaining components for the current version of Xbox One is going to have the newer Wi-Fi in it, and then the newer the later one that they're going to go ahead and probably announce is probably going to be a slim model with all the fixings.
Well, see, I agree with that. I mean, because, when they file for the FCC, what they're doing is checking to make sure it doesn't interfere with any of the emergency broadcast and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Right? So, in all honesty, if I knew that there was two filings, which there are, I would kind of hold off on buying a new Xbox until after July if I was going to jump on the Xbox bandwagon. Like you said, but they will probably release another Xbox like what I have underneath my in my system or underneath my shelf. But then, a month or less.
What they'll do is that they'll probably announce that they're planning on, when they're planning on bringing out a slim. To be honest with you, I haven't heard of many like Red Ring of Death type horror stories with the Xbox One. Then again, the amount of people who own Xbox Ones over the initial 360 owner demand is probably a tenth of the owners. But the thing about that is that I'm pretty sure that they're on the cusp of going ahead and doing hardware revisions. All right, and unfortunately, the head of the Xbox division, like I said, Mr. Spencer, I don't know if he's intentionally trolling the competition. All right, where he's gonna sit there and he's gonna go out of his way and say, "Hey, we're looking about doing like internal hardware revisions, upgrades to our shit," and then Sony. Maybe because he heard that Sony already had the PS4K in the works. I'm not sure. Maybe he was just kind of stirring the pot to see who else, shaking the tree to see who falls out.
I agree. I agree, because it wasn't how long ago when Phil Spencer said, "Hey, we're going to have a hardware update." Then all of a sudden Sony says, "Oh, we have a rumor started flowing that 4.5 and now the 4K is what it's known now."
Mm-hmm.
So
that was about 4 weeks ago. That was about a month ago.
That was pretty smart of Phil, though. Phil Spencer was doing like, "Hey, let's shake the tree, let's rattle the cage a little bit, find out what comes out of it."
If that's what he was doing, though, that I am having a hard time believing that was what he intended to do.
Why won't they do that to fucking first-party games?
Because Microsoft doesn't make their own games, unfortunately.
Not anymore.
Yeah.
Microsoft Studios, who are they?
Yep. No.
343.
I don't know. Maybe they're the division of Microsoft that's handing over all this personal information that the Department of Justice is requesting. All right. Now that brings us to the next portion of Microsoft news. Microsoft has actually sued the Department of Justice. They've sued the U.S. government over the amount of data requests that they've been getting. All right. What they're saying is that the government, the U.S. Department of Justice, is asking for them to release information, data that is enclosed on the cloud servers and the data that's hosted by Microsoft for their corporate, their clients. All right. According to them, let's see here. The government says that it's applying the ECPA, which is the Electronic Communications Protection Act, to access cloud data. If there's data that's out there, they're saying, "Hey, look, we are just trying to skim for harmful communications that are going through the electronic and internet superhighways." Right? But in response to what Microsoft has said is that Microsoft says that the government is violating the Fourth Amendment since that doesn't hinge on, you know, whether or not the electronic data is being stored locally on your computer or in the cloud. All right, your right to privacy on your device. It doesn't matter if it's in your home or if it's in Microsoft's corporate offices. All right, and then they also included that over the last 18 months, Microsoft has received 5,624 legal orders under the ECPA, of which 2,576 prevented Microsoft disclosing to customers that data was requested through subpoena, warrant, or other request. Most of the requests made under the ECPA are against individual users and not companies. Yes, Big Brother is fucking spying on you. All right. And in a surprising role, maybe because they took a cue from Apple and the whole FBI iPhone debacle.
Yep.
But you know, Microsoft is sitting there blowing the horn, and they came out with concrete numbers saying, "Hey, look, we have records of not only did the government request us to pull this data, but they also instructed us not to tell our users that we were looking at their fucking data. And not only that, but the grand majority of the folks that they're looking at, it's not crooked companies or fucking people like that. It's individual fucking end users that they're looking at." You know?
Okay, let me start by saying this. Just because my fucking information is on the cloud, that does not put it in fucking public domain.
Yeah.
You do not have the right to go through my shit and not tell me about it. And tell the company that's hosting this shit to keep quiet about it. No, you're wrong.
Once again, I told you so.
Although I don't have anything on the cloud because I know better, but still, that's a bunch of bullshit. You do not have the right to take stuff. No, I'm so infuriated by this. And you know what? I hope Microsoft freaking wins. But again, the problem with that is we all know what happened with the Apple versus the government. The government hired fucking geniuses to break the code. And they did. They got the information that they wanted in the long run. So is this going to happen now on the cloud? Is the government going to hire motherfuckers to go in there and break through Microsoft's security, cloud security, to get the information that they want?
Well, it all depends on a few things. All right. Regardless of the legal precedent and the end result of whatever this litigation ends up being, I'm pretty sure the government is still going to be digging. That's not going to stop them. All right, they're going to do that. What is going to change is the form of the type of request that they make. Okay, I would not be surprised that, you know, it comes up in Congress or it comes up before Senate, another form of the ECPA or another form of a similar type of act where just like the All Rights Act and everything else, or under Homeland Security or some other pretext that they decide to go ahead and say, oh, okay, we're going to enact some other thing where it's like, oh, because, well, you know, with ECPA, we had to do everything like this, but because of the situation, we can go ahead and act under this particular act,
Bullshit.
and we're going to go around
bullshit. When you're infringing the privacy of law-abiding citizens, when the government infringes on that shit, I have a problem with that.
What rights and what privacy? You see, this is the funniest thing about it is we knew that Microsoft was connected to this type of shit years ago.
Yeah,
we knew it. And this is why the backlash of 2013 actually fucking happened. People started backtracking and looking at shit. It's like, wait a minute. You mean to tell me that these motherfuckers can go into my shit anytime they fucking want?
Yeah.
That shit exists, and Microsoft just wanted full control of it. The only problem that Microsoft is having now is that the government wants to get involved and wants to...
Well, the government wants control of it.
Well, yeah, Microsoft just wanted to have control of it over itself. But we knew that there was an agreement with the government and Microsoft for this fucking purpose.
Yeah.
Fucking knew this.
Oh.
So at the end of the day, it's like, why is anyone surprised?
Well,
I think
knew that not to keep anything on the cloud. I mean, other than I do have some music on there, I think, but that's about the extent of it. But I mean, I didn't trust that from the get-go to have. I mean, it must be nice to have your documents where you can access them. And I mean, it's very convenient to have your documents. You know, you could have your documents in the cloud, and I could be in freaking Washington or Florida or Japan or South Korea, wherever, and I could actually access those documents. That's nice, but you got to understand it comes with some responsibility and some power that you're willing to give up when you put it out there. But now, one thing though, I don't agree with the government snooping on law-abiding citizens. Now, if you have people that committed a crime, I mean, like a heinous crime, like murder somebody, yeah, you could. I don't have a problem with somebody with the government looking through his files, but looking through my files, looking through your files, looking through the Reverend's files.
You are a straight white male. You are a rapist waiting to happen.
Yeah. I mean, under certain ideological pretext and identity politics and shit like that. I mean, here's the thing. All right, the Fourth Amendment, all right, which is pretty much the one that protects your rights to due process. It doesn't. The way it's written out, it doesn't discriminate whether or not you have a criminal past or not. Okay,
right.
And again, the amendments, the way that they're written, is they outline very explicitly what the government is not supposed to be able to do. Okay, now what really needs to be taken away from this particular situation, and I don't want to get preachy about it, but it really illustrates that people have to start paying attention to what's happening, not on the front fucking page of news, because guess what? I didn't see this shit, okay?
No, that's what I found it.
News, all right?
I found it, and I didn't find it on the front page of Yahoo either.
Yeah.
I mean, I was digging through gaming sites of all places is where I found it.
You know,
on a gaming site.
Yeah, what this really illustrates, just like we mentioned with the Apple versus FBI video, you know, people have to pay attention to this bullshit because you can't sit there and do this. You can't walk out into your front lawn blindfolded, singing Yankee Doodle Dandy without any shoes on, step in some shit, and then get angry at your fucking dog for shitting there. All right. Or get angry at the dog for shitting there. Because guess what? That's what dogs do. They shit on the ground, all right? Now, if you're fucking paying attention, your eyes were open, you're looking where your feet were stepping, maybe you wouldn't have stepped in that shit, all right?
Wait a minute. That's called taking responsibility for your own actions and looking out for yourself.
Well, I mean,
I know, and I'm an ignorant bastard for not including blind people in that fucking analogy. I'm sorry, okay?
That's the best analogy that you can come up with that. I mean, if you come away with anything from this video, is that you should know that once you put your stuff, your private stuff on the cloud, even when you do it, it tells you. It tells you a little saying that, you know, like this is going up here in the cloud and yada, yada, yada. So I'm saying take responsibility for your actions. Is the government correct in doing this? No, absolutely not.
No.
But you gave the government an opportunity to do it by storing your shit on the cloud.
Yeah. Well, and the thing is,
when it comes to technology, with every bit of convenience, there comes a price.
Absolutely.
And the thing is that, you know, not only are people not paying attention to that price, they're also not paying attention to the other types of uses that people other than the intended user will want to go ahead and take advantage of. Okay.
Well,
The wonder of the internet, the wonder of electronic communication, the wonder of remote data storage and all of that stuff is great stuff. But along those same lines and those same avenues, there are new ways that people can be victimized, and privacy can be compromised. Things that people don't want to get out, and like I said, with the Fourth Amendment, it doesn't discriminate whether or not you have a criminal past or not. You have to follow that due process. Okay.
Well, the lesson that you should take from this in all, is that when you put your information out there, somebody's going to get it, the government or, hackers. So you have to do it knowing that, I guess. But I think, the thing is, though, when Microsoft tried this 2013 thing with the Xbox One and the Kinect and all that good stuff, right? We saw that a mile away. This one, on the other, we didn't see. This was hidden. This was a wolf in sheep clothing, is what this is. So you like you said, like everybody said here in this discussion, you got to really start paying attention on where you put your data. If you don't want Uncle Sam to get in your business, find out if you're bankrupt or if you're running a drug gang or whatever. If you don't want the government to know that, then don't put yourself out there on the internet. We're just living in, it's just electronic age, like you guys were saying. This is 2016, where information has, it flows with ease. How quick does a tweet go out and all the people just, jump on that? It's just so quick that information is released now. Seconds. That's all it took for somebody to tweet at that Microsoft after party, and it just blew up Twitter. Seconds, not even, as soon as it was tweeted out. So you've got to take a lesson from this to know that if you put yourself out there, that people are going to see it. If you put your information out there, people are going to get it. So, just on what you want to put out there.
A lot of people feel that they shouldn't be skeptical about anything like this because they feel that they should be protected no matter what, and they shouldn't have to look into something like that. Just like being aware of your own fucking surroundings. There are certain people that do not want to fucking do that. They just want to go out and they say, oh no, don't tell me how to, look out for myself. Tell everybody else not to do the bullshit. And it's like, okay, look, that's not, we're not in a perfect world like that. We're just not. That's like if I were to go into the wild, I know fucking animals, insects, and things that can bite and poison me are out there. It's just as simple as that.
It's called situational awareness for a reason.
Yes, but even like with shit like this, you should have known, everyone should have known that this had a chance of happening. There's no way that Microsoft was going to just say, okay, yeah, and we're going to keep these motherfuckers out of it when you knew that they were connected to the government from implementing this shit from the get-go.
Well, one thing, I'm not defending Microsoft here, but one thing that Microsoft does or did is that they were told by the government not to tell the individuals that they're taking data, that their data was looked at. Whether or not they're in cahoots or they laying in bed with Uncle Sam is a whole different story. But the fact that Uncle Sam said, don't tell nobody. And then I guess Microsoft had I don't know, what's that word I'm looking for?
They were suffering from a wounded conscience or something like that.
That's the best. And I understand that, but it still doesn't give, to me, my opinion, it still doesn't give the government the right to seize any data that it desires, you know, especially on innocent people. I mean, and whatever happened to you being innocent until proven guilty? What are you, guilty until proven innocent? That's not the way.
That died with political correctness.
That is not what judicial system, United States judicial system is about. You're not guilty until you're proven innocent.
Listen. That died with political correctness. That died with the press. That died with listen and believe. That died with motherfuckers being told on college campuses all this garbage that's going on. All the lies, everywhere, everything, systematically, just lies, lies, and lies in order to build stuff like this so stuff like this can happen. And it pisses me off because, again, yes, the government shouldn't be fucking doing this, but everyone around basically gave the government permission to without even fucking knowing it.
Yeah.
And that's what it's gone to. We, look, not us, not we, but we as the people basically are saying that we can't take care of ourselves. The government has to step in. We need Big Brother. Please help me because I'm too lazy. I'm too to help my fucking self.
I agree 100% with what you're saying.
And that is why this shit is being done. And as we were saying, the motherfuckers didn't even know that this shit was happening.
Mm-hmm.
So at the end of the day, the only way that this shit is not going to happen is for motherfuckers to take responsibility for their own actions and not ask Big Brother to fucking look at our shit for no fucking reason.
To add on to what you said is that's what's problem. That's a systematic problem with society today, is that there is no self-reliance anymore. It's like, I mean, you got these people that live on food stamps, and it falls in line with the $15 an hour at the fast food restaurant. Whatever happened to when you're 18 years old? All of us right here, we were not kicked out, but we were kicked out of our house with a big ass foot out. Go make yourself. I joined the military. The team joined the military, and we made ourselves. You know, and then the Reverend over there, he made himself. He said the story before about the video games. He made himself. We did not ask Big Brother. So, oh, can I please have $20,000 so I can pay off my student loans for a degree that means nothing? Social studies, gender studies. Are you fucking kidding me? But anyway, I agree 100% what you said, Theme. We allow this to happen. We as a society, as a United States society, we allow this to happen. Instead of pointing out and, you know, telling people, no, you will go out there and you will find a job and you will support yourself.
It's not even just that, but it's everything on a personal level. And it's not just on a society measurement. Motherfuckers just want to be monitored as far as everything. Everything. And they're allowing that without even fucking even knowing it. They're saying without even knowing that they're saying it.
I can't stand micromanaging.
No. And that's exactly what this is.
It's not even micromanaging. All right, it's much worse. And I'll say this because
yeah, it is. It's worse.
I'll say this in conclusion. Here, if we take away anything from this, especially if you're somebody who's new to the channel and you happen to stumble over this, I want you to sit there and I want you to honestly look the next person that you see saying, hey, look, the government is out to get us. Look at the records of the shit that there is evidence of. And I want you to look at them square in the eye and tell them honestly that they are a conspiracy nut. All right. And I want you to listen to yourself as you say that. Here's the thing.
It's past the tinfoil hat.
Here's the thing. The conspiracy nuts, there are enough of them out there, and there is enough evidence out there that shows that maybe they're not so off base. And that's something that everybody needs to go ahead and concern themselves with. Because when it comes to the government, the only people that they're not concerned about fucking over is themselves. With that, in closing, thank you for spending the last 35 minutes with us, folks. We enjoyed your time. If you've enjoyed our video, hit the comment button, hit like and subscribe. All right. I am the Reverend.
This is the theme here.
And this is Mouse One.
Common sense and logic. Not much gaming in this one, but damn it.
Be smart about where you put your information. Be smart about where.
Fuck releasing all of our shit without our fucking permission. Stop with the bullshit.